Hey guys! Hey guys, so today's video is going to be a sort of like a get ready with me. I'm sort of chit-chatting, not really all that much, but I've really been adjusting my makeup routine recently, trying to figure out a way to do it very quickly, but still look awake and put together while also making sure that it lasts all day. So I'm basically showing you yet again another everyday my recent go-to makeup routine, which is what I'm wearing on my face right now, except for my lip. I'm not wearing anything on my lips, but I usually do. So I have very, very minimal makeup on right now. This is a no foundation look, which, who am I? I don't know. I honestly hate foundation, and I've come to the conclusion that I've always hated foundation. It just bothers me that it doesn't look perfect all day. It's like, wow, on camera, I just applied it and it looks so awesome and I'm so flawless. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, oh my gosh, my pores look like craters and I have these smile lines, creases, whatever. I hate foundation, and I'm so glad that I finally have my skin to the point where I feel semi-comfortable walking out of the house with no foundation on my face. So if you want to see the recent go-to makeup that I've been doing on a daily basis, work, I almost just said school, I don't go to school, errands, date night, whatever, I'm wearing this on my face. So if you want to see how I got this look, then let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so of course I'm going to start out by priming. I've been using my NYX Angel Veil Primer, which I love. You don't need a whole lot, and I like to focus it sort of like on my nose area and then blend it outwards. This makeup is so incredibly simple. I can get ready in like 10 minutes if I'm not like doing stuff to my hair, which I never do. Honestly, if I'm getting ready for work, the thing that probably takes me the longest to do is my lips, and that's because I usually wear lip scents. And if you know how to apply that stuff, it's kind of like you have to do a couple different layers, whatever. And if I try to get fancy and, you know, mix colors and all that stuff, that's what takes the longest. So Tarte Shape Tape, I literally just do one dot and one dot because this stuff is so incredibly full coverage that if I'm not wearing any foundation, which I haven't worn foundation in months, the Tarte Shape Tape is just a little bit too full coverage if you're not doing a full face. And it just looks kind of funny, like my under eyes are so airbrushed and flawless looking, and then the rest of my face you can still see my scarring and everything coming through. So I just like to do a little itty bitty dot. And sometimes I don't even use Shape Tape. Sometimes I'll go in with like Colourpop No Filter or even my Maybelline Fit Me. And with the Fit Me I can do a couple more dots maybe because it's nowhere near as full coverage as Shape Tape is. I'm just blending that in with my Elle small stipple brush. I don't take it up onto my eyelids, and then basically once I'm done blending it out, I'll just take whatever is left over on the brush and sort of hit my nose a little bit, just because that's like the reddest part of my face and it looks a little bit funny, it kind of stands out. And then similar like to eyeshadow, when there's less product on my brush, I sort of start to, you know, take it a little bit further down just so there's a nice blend between my, you know, nice flawless under eye and the rest of my face, which is far from flawless. So now what I do is set that with a little bit of powder, and usually I will go into my custom palette here and use this powder here, which is the Kat Von D blotting powder, which I love. My favorite thing about it is that it's pressed. So I just ordered the can because you can order it with like without the compact, and it's like $10 cheaper. So that's usually what I will use. I'm still a diehard fan of RCMA No Color powder. It just is a loose powder. That one keeps me matte for a lot longer, but I don't really like to look matte. Call that good. And then I usually skip bronzer. Who am I? Then I pretty much just go straight in with my blush, and I am using the Laura Geller Baked Blush-n-Brighten in Pink Buttercream. I grabbed this along with Pink Grapefruit during Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. Pink Grapefruit is the one that's like a lot more popular, but I think I prefer Pink Buttercream. I don't know if I just like pink blush more, but this just gives you the most beautiful, sheeny, glowy, pinky, sun-kissed cheeks. I just love it, and it's also very pigmented. A little goes a very long way. I usually go overboard and then have to do a lot of blending. So I pop it on my cheeks. I kind of use it as like a bronzer and a blush. It just kind of like, I don't know, brings some color to my cheeks, and I don't think it looks that weird with no bronzer. My dog is like digging his nose into the carpet right now. What are you doing, honey? What are you doing? I'm just applying this with my Elle Flawless Face Brush, which I think is my new favorite bronzer blush brush. It's perfectly fluffy. It applies it very sort of diffused looking, but then you can also use it to blend nicely. It's got a great shape to it. I love it. Ow! Oh, he looks so sorry. It's okay, honey. Just, you know, watch where you're walking, okay? I have this glass water bottle here and Kaiser just kicked it into my knee. It's okay, buddy. Okay, so I do skip bronzer, but if you thought I was gonna skip highlight, you're sorely mistaken. Usually I will use Colourpop Here Kitty Kitty. That's been my favorite highlight recently, as I'm sure you can tell. It's probably time to reorder. Recently I have been dabbling a little bit back into my Rodeo Drive, which also, as you can see, is a favorite of mine. Man, I find my highlights and I don't stray. I love Here Kitty Kitty. I think it's the perfect in-between sort of champagne everyday shade that just matches everything. Boom, shakalaka. I do not take it easy on the highlight either. I hit the cheekbones, of course. Nose. I try to skip my Cupid's bow because I've noticed that my Cupid's bow is what gets sweaty and glowy the fastest. Oily, not like sweaty, but if I'm sweating, that's where I'm sweating first, and this is what gets really super oily. That's just what I noticed first, so I try and keep the highlight away because my natural oils take care of that glowiness there. I'm sure my poor customers at the store are like, girl, why are you so sweaty? Because my store is always very air conditioned, very cold. I'm always wearing like a jacket and everything in the store. Unless I'm steaming clothes, then I get really hot. Do I look like a greased chicken yet? I don't think so. The first time I did this makeup, it was actually on 4th of July, and I walked out of the bathroom and I showed it to my husband and I was like, what do you think of my makeup? And he goes, very nice, very shiny. And I was like, yes. So being someone who, you know, has dealt with cystic acne, I stopped in to work and my coworker mentioned she doesn't really wear a lot of makeup, like she's not into makeup like I am, and she even told me, she was like, your makeup looks really good today. And I was like, you have no idea how much that means to me. And that day I actually wasn't even wearing concealer. I was wearing like blush and highlighter and mascara and brows, and that was it. So it feels good to finally be at a place where I feel comfortable and pretty walking out of the house like this. If I were gonna go a little bit more out there, I would probably grab my little crease brush, which I like to use for contouring actually. If I wanted to be a little bit more out there, a little bit more chiseled, I would just carve my cheekbones just with this. No bronzer, just a little bit of contour. But if I'm in a rush, I don't even worry about that stuff. All right, so now is when I'd probably set my face. And recently I've been using the Ulta Dewy Finish Setting Spray, which is what is in here, but it's the bottle of the Cover FX Illuminating Setting Spray. That stuff is fine. I just found myself not reaching for it that much because of how glittery it was. So I didn't like the bottle of the Ulta one, so I dumped out the Cover FX one and I poured the Ulta one in its bottle because I love this little spritzer. It's so good. I really like the setting spray, except for I really have to make sure that I keep my eyes closed, because if I don't, throughout the day I sort of get like this weird like film over my eyes and I kind of can't see for a second, and I just kind of blink and it goes away. Usually when I'm at home I have this little fan from the dollar store that I will like fan my face off with, but I didn't bring it with me. All right, now I'm gonna put a little something something on my brows. If I'm feeling like I want something a little bit more structured and bold, I will go in with the NYX eyebrow gel in the shade Brunette. My mom gave me this. I've only used this a couple of times, but I do really like it. But typically I'll just go for my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper. But of course, I've been very into that feathery, bushy sort of a look recently. So basically with this, I'll brush them up, and then once it dries, I'll sort of, you know, comb them down, tame them a little bit more so they're not like this little turd eyebrow hair. Alright, and now of course for some lashes. L'Oreal Lash Paradise. I'll never stop. I get a lot of compliments when I wear this mascara, and I get even more compliments when I combine these two mascaras. Lash Paint by Tarte and the Lash Paradise by L'Oreal. I wear some type of combination of the two of them every single day. Every day that I wear makeup. And then I'll just go in with my lip scents, usually Pink Champagne, which I would totally put on right now, but I'm pretty sure it's in my car, which is not a good thing because it's hot outside. So that's really everything. That's the recent every single day makeup look that I've been doing. especially for work, and I love that it only takes literally a couple of minutes, so I pretty much do this if I'm not going to work, if I'm just, you know, running out for some errands, meeting the hubs for lunch, stuff like that. This is the go-to makeup recently, and it feels like I'm wearing nothing on my face. That's the one thing I hate about foundation. I hate that it always creases right here in my smile lines, and I get super self-conscious about what my foundation looks like, and in this case, I don't really have to worry about what my face is doing. I can live my life not according to my makeup. So that's everything for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss any future videos of mine, and I will see you guys next time.